Every year, the movie industry releases movies that stir up heated debates in our society. We love these films or hate them, and some make us question the state of our civilization. So which movies are the most controversial of all time? Well, in today's video, we're going to share that with you, and here are the top 10 most controversial movies ever. At number 1 is Reservoir Dogs in 1992. The year Quentin Tarantino released his first movie, in 1992, was a turning point for the whole industry. A long history of violent and highly referential conversation was established by Reservoir Dogs. His colorful crew of robbers fails at their heist, setting up some intense escape sequences and a tense standoff in a warehouse. The scene with Mr. Blonde torturing a policeman to the tune of Stealers Wheel generated the greatest criticism. It starred Michael Madsen, and the film won the Sundance Film Festival and launched a new age of American cinema, but it also caused walkouts due to some of its vicious and gory scenes. At number 2 is The Last Temptation of Christ in 1988. There is some debate about many of the stories of Jesus. The response to Martin Scorsese's Last Temptation of Christ was much more extensive than normal. The novel that was the basis for the film was already controversial among religious organizations due to its examination of Christ's conflicts with heavenly provocations. There's one scene in particular that continues to enrage some viewers because it depicts him in a fantasy ascending the cross and leading a married life. More people become interested in the movie as the result of protests and picket lines, but a terrorist attack on a Parisian movie theater demonstrated a much more extreme and despicable response. The film was temporarily banned in several nations, while the director allegedly received death threats. At number 3 is Last Tango in Paris in 1972. Last Tango in Paris depicts the meeting of two lost souls for a passionate affair in a Parisian apartment, whether it's contentious or erotic. The principal couple is portrayed by Marlon Brando and Maria Schneider, who take part in some explicit acts that go much beyond the typical love scenes in Hollywood. Schneider later admitted that the production was made worse for the young actress by Brando and director Bernardo Bertolucci. The actor felt extremely uncomfortable shooting a sexual act that was depicted on screen in one infamous instance. The Italian authorities declared it to be obscene, and copies of the film were destroyed, along with protests from the cast. And while some people find it to be overly explicit, others who disagree support the effort in never-ending arguments. At number 4 is Antichrist in 2009. The unconventional nature of Lars von Trier's movies is evident in Antichrist, a psychological horror picture that serves as another illustration of the director's singular style. Willem Dafoe and Charlotte Gainsbourg, who play a married couple, go to a lodge in the woods to recover from the terrible loss of losing their kid. A dramatic twist occurs during their stay as adversarial forces seem to follow their characters and eventually drive Gainsbourg into wrath-filled rage. Realistic scenes of mutilation were also criticized and called for future banning with various sex scenes. The film received divisive reviews at film festivals and was released uncut in a number of nations without receiving the appropriate rating. At number 5 is Monty Python's Life of Brian. The main character of Monty Python's second film is a contemporary of Jesus who intentionally finds himself living a parallel existence to the prophet. One of the group's best performances questions and mocks religion, but not everyone found it funny. Blasphemy accusations sparked demonstrations, and several nations even outright banned screenings, with few people misinterpreting the story's main point in the process. Additionally, they thought scenes like the last crucifixion scenario were offensive, which is why the movie ended with a musical performance including crosses. Multiple strategies used to discourage viewers didn't work. Instead, interest in the film gradually grew. At number 6 is Kids in 1995. Kids relentlessly pursues raw authenticity, setting it apart from other coming-of-age movies. When Harmony Korine was a teenager, she wanted to explore the harsh reality of being a young person in New York. A loose plot involving a character accidentally spreading HIV to others offended audiences because the film's realistic and occasionally harsh depiction of adolescence in the 1990s. The unvarnished and frank portrayals of sex and drugs elicited a range of reactions, from worried comments to derogatory remarks. However, because director Larry Clark didn't worry about the MPAA ratings, he produced an unparalleled cautionary story. At number 7 is Pink Flamingos in 1972. Pink Flamingos is perhaps John Waters' most daring picture, and he's sometimes referred to as the Pope of Trash by critics. A part for the ages is played by Waters' muse divine as the deranged Babs. She responds to attempts by others to usurp her position as the filthiest person alive by committing a slew of abhorrent crimes while showing no signs of remorse. At number 8 is Irreversible in 2002. Certain films should only be watched once, and it's possible that Irreversible, a film by Gaspar Noé, is on that list of most unsettling scenes in movie history. Two men use any means required to exact revenge on the woman who was viciously attacked. It's quite tough to say no because of the unconventional format. Some viewers might not have been able to watch the entire 9-minute attack scenario on Monica Bellucci. This is a contentious release with many ardent detractors since the director clearly expresses his erratic storytelling and directing decisions. At number 9 is The Birth of a Nation in 1915. One of the few films that had a significant impact on American history was The Birth of a Nation. Although D.W. Griffith's film served as a model for early cinema, it also served as the catalyst for a new wave of the Ku Klux Klan. Without addressing the film's pervasive, detrimental consequences on African Americans, it's hard to evaluate its technical advancements. And at number 10 is The Passion of Christ in 2004. Intentionally highlighting the brutal reality of Jesus' dying hours, The Passion of Christ does this. Given an R rating, Mel Gibson doesn't hold back on the crucifixion scene, which has raised questions about the severity of its gory effects. The director was later asked many questions on how he handled Jewish characters in the plot, as well as his adherence to biblical authenticity. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon for more content just like this. We'll see you all in the next one.